Thank you and welcome to Minister Mary Butler here with us today. Minister, I'm sharing this commencement with Senator Eugene Murphy. We met with Annette, Kathy, Martina and also talked with Nora. These are all people, Minister, who work in Portiuncula University Hospital in Ballinasloe. These are people who were on the front line all during the pandemic. They were our hospital warriors in the face of COVID-19. There are warriors that went out every single day and left their families at home when we were asked to stay at home. When we were asked to keep people safe, they were asked to keep people safe by going to work. Minister, they put themselves in the line. These are contract cleaners and caterers. They work with Noonan's and Aramark, particularly in the Sale University Hospital group. They worked 12-hour or 14-hour shifts, and they did what was asked of them, as many of us did. We came as a country together, Minister. We came together to fight this battle. The pandemic recognition payment is a recognition by the Irish government on behalf of the Irish people to staff who worked on the front line. And Minister, from my understanding, we've nearly an estimated 125,000 now people, HSE and Section 38 staff, that have now received this payment. And again, a payment totally in recognition of the work that was done. But a number of other categories of people remain, Minister. And I suppose our question here is, what are the categories that are left? What about the clarification of contract cleaners and caterers for the pandemic healthcare payment? Are cleaners and caterers part of this? And also, Minister, do we have an estimate of the remaining payments and timelines now that we have a new provider? What is that going to be? Minister, I really appreciate your time on this. We really need to have fair and equal treatment for people who worked so hard to keep everyone safe and to save lives. Members of my own family have worked in cleaning. I've worked in cleaning all through college. You've been involved in doing work. Minister, these people were on the front line for us. Garmagas.
Thank you very much, and for the timing. I want to be sure that Senator Murphy gets 2 minutes, or he might think I was acting in a partisan fashion. Senator Murphy.
You're always very fair, and of course your Roscommon connection. Make sure you're always very fair.
Oh, I have to. God, I'd be in trouble.
Minister, the first thing I want to do, our health is our wealth, and it's really fantastic to see you back here in good form. And thank you for letting me know the good news 2 weeks ago. And I'm delighted for you, because at the end of the day, that's what we all wish for, is good health. And many people get many challenges with their health every day of the week. And I'm just going to endorse what Senator Dolan has said. I think she's given the story as it is. We met with those people. And, I look at these people like Cathy and others, but 4 of them, I think there was there, with their SIP2 rep as the medicine, Gulans Hotel in Ballinasloe last week. And these people are struggling with the cost of living crisis. Now, bear that in mind. They're aware of their families, doing a very good job. And they're coming up against what I call an embarrassing situation for the Oireachtas people. Now, I do accept, in fairness, Minister Donnelly did meet with these people. They approached him, I think somewhere in Galway City, probably the University Hospital there, in recent weeks. And he was sympathetic, and I know he is trying. I know you are quite annoyed about the situation yourself, that this should be happening. The reality is, whatever has to be done, we're told that this work has been sourced out to a company. Let's get on with it. And can we try and get that money paid for Christmas to those people? It is simply not right. It is embarrassing for us that it's happening. Let's get it out of the way, and I have no more to say about it. I'm happy with those words.
Thank you very much indeed, Senator Dolan and Murphy, and you're setting a very good standard of working for a common objective in the constituency. Minister Butler to respond, please.
I want to thank both Senators Dolan and Murphy for raising this really important issue. In January of this year, to recognise the unique role and extraordinary efforts, the government announced a pandemic recognition payment for frontline public sector healthcare workers. The pandemic recognition payment was introduced to express the application of government to those working in frontline COVID-exposed environments. Significant efforts have been made to progress the payment of this measure, and it has been very, very frustrating. And it has been very frustrating for myself as Minister for Mental Health and Older People. This is the result of extensive efforts by the Department of Health officials and the HSE. To date, over 124,000 eligible frontline HSE and Section 38 healthcare workers have been paid. This means that the vast majority of those eligible frontline workers have now received the pandemic recognition payment. There are a wide variety of frontline workers within the HSE and Section 38 organisations eligible for this payment. Support staff such as cleaning and catering staff, among other groups, are included once they meet the eligibility criteria set out. There are also certain non-HSE and non-Section 38 healthcare workers who are encompassed by the government decision. Included in these groups are eligible staff in private sector nursing homes and hospices, community care homes, Section 39 long-term residential facilities for people with disabilities, agency roles working with the HSE, in the HSE, healthcare supported assistance, contracted to the HSE, healthcare workers who went into houses day after day during the COVID pandemic. Members of the Defence Forces redeployed to work in frontline COVID-19 exposed environments in the HSE and did Trojan work in relation to supporting nursing homes and in relation to supporting the rollout of the vaccine. And paramedics employed by Dublin Fire Brigade to deliver services on behalf of the HSE. The Department of Health have been working with the Department of Defence and the Local Government Management Agency to expedite and ensure that payment of eligible members of the Defence Forces seconded to COVID-exposed environments in the HSE, as well as Dublin Fire Brigade paramedics. The Department of Health has now transferred funds to Dublin City Council and the Department of Defence to allow for these payments to be completed as soon as possible. Payments to these eligible workers will be arranged by their employers. So anyone who was contracted directly by the HSE received their payments in a timely manner. However, we have seen that there's many areas where that didn't happen. And I'm glad to see that that has been expedited now in relation to the Defence Forces and the Dublin Fire Brigade paramedics. In August 22, the HSE published an invitation to tender for a third-party contractor to assist with the payment process for eligible non-public sector workers. Minister Donnelly has instructed the HSE to use a simplified process to expedite payments to non-HSE organisations, and the HSE and the KOSI Corporation have now finalised the process to ensure the payment of these workers. I've spoken several times to Minister Donnelly in relation to this, and he is so frustrated with the slow pace of the delivery to the non-HSE workers in rolling out the payment. Last week, information packs began issuing to relevant organisations. Packs have now issued to over 750 relevant organisations, including nursing homes, disability facilities, agency organisations and home care organisations. Organisations who make prompt returns can expect to receive funds in the coming weeks, so I know everybody will welcome that. Government is mindful of other workers who play their part in sustaining services during the COVID-19 pandemic and consider this matter carefully, listening to the views of stakeholders before reaching its decision. It was difficult to draw a line on this matter, but the government based its decision on the risks which eligible frontline healthcare workers faced. And I do take on board the point you made, both senators, in relation to the contract cleaners and the caterers, but I just refer to the line again that says there are certain non-HSE and non-Section 38 healthcare workers who are encompassed by the government decision. There are a wide variety of support staff such as cleaning and catering staff, amongst other groups, are included once they meet the eligibility criteria set out.
Thank you very much indeed, Minister. You can take each of you for a few sentences.
Would that be okay? Thank you,
Yeah, of course it would.
Minister, I take it then that the contract cleaners and caterers are included in this from your explanation there, Minister. Would that be correct?
Respond at the
Okay,
end,
thank you.
if that's okay.
So I take it from the Minister's response there that the caterers and cleaners have been included in this. It just notes that packs have now been issued to 750 relevant organisations, including agency organisations. So the agencies that I'm concerned with here, particularly around the sale to the University Hospital Healthcare Group, which includes other hospitals as well as Port Yunkla, is the Armagh Catering and Noonan Cleaning Services. And again, that would also include the security porters.
Gurmagat
Sorry,
Fain and Senator Murphy.
Thanks for your response, Minister. And I clearly remember a number of weeks after the announcement being contacted by some of those people in Ballinasloe, family members of the contract cleaners, and I sought clarification. And the clear answer I got at that time was that any company that the HSE had contracted to do work in the hospitals, their staff were eligible, and I think they will come under that. And I hope now what you said there, that things will start to move and that these people will get the payments, because that's my clear understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Minister, to respond.
Thank you.
Thanks to the two of you for your cooperation.
So for clarity, the pandemic recognition payment is now in the final stages of its rollout and should begin reaching organisations very soon so that eligible staff can receive the payment as soon as possible. But the nub of the issue, and I'm going to reiterate it again, there are a wide variety of frontline workers within the HSE and Section 38 organisations eligible for this payment. Support staff such as cleaning and catering staff, amongst other groups, are included once they meet the eligibility criteria set out. And these also include private sector nursing homes and hospices, Section 39 long-term residential facilities for people with disability, agency roles within the HSE, healthcare supported assistance, members of the Defence Forces and paramedics employed by Dublin Fire Brigade. So I do hope that clarifies it, because my understanding is very, very clearly once they meet the eligibility criteria, which is there for all, meaning that you work for a certain amount of time on the front line. So hopefully that payment will issue very, very soon.